Welcome to this fast-paced explainer. We're totally bypassing the usual small talk today because, quite frankly, your survival skills are on the clock. We're going to put your wits, your logic, and your observation skills to the absolute ultimate test. We've got a series of scenarios specifically designed to trip up your brain, and we're going to see if you can escape these dangers unscathed. Ready? Let's go.
Okay, let's dive right into this with a quick test of your observation skills. Picture this scenario. Exactly 10 minutes ago, someone stole all the cash from a beach cafe. Now you have a lineup of suspects, and of course, they all swear up and down they haven't been anywhere near the cafe in the last 10 minutes. Scan the visual details carefully. You have just 10 seconds to spot the thief. Who is lying to you?
Time's up. Did you catch it? The thief is actually the guy holding the ice cream. Now, what's really interesting about this is how our brains completely overlook the obvious timeline of melting ice cream. If he had bought that treat more than 10 minutes ago, standing under a hot sun on a beach, it would have been a melted puddle on the ground, or he would have already eaten it. It's a perfect example of how the most glaring clues hide right in plain sight. And that brings us right into Section 1, the trap of the obvious. Let's look at how our minds get distracted by loud, chaotic details. Imagine a truck, a man riding a horse, and a motorcycle all waiting at a green light. Suddenly, the truck driver drops his cell phone right onto the steering wheel horn. The loud blast absolutely terrifies the horse. The horse rears up and bites the motorcyclist's ear. Shocked, in pain, the motorcyclist unwittingly jerks his bike forward and causes a terrible accident. Absolute mayhem, right? But out of all this wild chaos, which person actually broke the law?
Well, did you spot the misdirection? The crucial point here is that you are probably way too focused on the bizarre chain reaction, the dropped phone, the honking, the biting horse, to notice the most basic traffic violation of all. The person breaking the law is the motorcyclist simply because he wasn't wearing a helmet while driving. It's a classic misdirection trap.
Now, this next one brilliantly illustrates something called social reflection, which is another huge trap of the obvious. Mark and James are playing around in a dark, filthy attic. When they come downstairs, Mark's face is completely covered in dirt and dust, while James's face is miraculously completely spotless. Yet, for some reason, James is the one who rushes to the bathroom to wash his face. Why on earth would he do that? Well, because James looked at Mark's filthy face and incorrectly assumed his own face was dirty too. Meanwhile, Mark looked at James's perfectly clean face and just assumed he was clean. They literally judge their own physical reality by looking at someone else. Let's move on and see how this concept builds. Sometimes, cracking a complicated code doesn't require complex math. It just requires a really simple shift in your physical perspective. Say a treasure hunter finds a stone at a crossroad that reads 4 plus no 5. It sounds like some impossible mathematical cipher, right? But actually, scratch that. If you take that note and literally just turn it upside down, the letters shift and it perfectly spells the word south. That's the direction of the hidden treasure. No math required at all, just a fresh perspective. All right, let's shift gears for Section 2, Mastering Your Natural Environment. In this part of the explainer, we're shifting from everyday observation to high-stakes environmental survival. This is where you have to use pure logic to conquer nature's dead ends. Imagine you're stranded alone in the jungle. You are practically out of water, and you only have a standard filter water bottle. You come across 4 options. Now, if you choose the juicy cactus, you're going to get a severe stomachache because most are highly toxic. That salty seawater pond, it'll just dehydrate you even faster. And that crystal clear still lake, it's completely stagnant and swarming with dangerous bacteria. So if you eliminate those hidden dangers, your absolute best choice is actually the silty stream. Sure, it looks dirty, but it contains absolutely nothing that your filter water bottle can't safely neutralize. Now, what's really interesting about this next scenario is how it turns our assumptions about safety completely upside down. A psycho gives you a choice of where you have to survive for 3 whole weeks. A sunny, peaceful field with flowers, exactly 1 banana, and a single glass of water, or a dark, stormy beach with sharp cliffs and massive waves. As it turns out, the seemingly peaceful field is, well, it's a total death trap. A single banana and 1 glass of water won't keep you alive for 3 weeks. No way. The intimidating, stormy beach is actually the correct choice here. The terrible weather provides continuous drinking water, and the sea offers a constant source of food. And this lateral logic applies directly to physics too. Consider poor John. He can't swim, and he's been thrown into a 20-foot pit that is going to fill completely with water in just 5 minutes. Inside, he has a short 6-foot rope, a heavy 3-foot metal safe, and a 4-foot wooden barrel. When that water starts rushing in, physics is his best friend. The heavy safe and the short rope are totally useless distractions. The only logical step is to grab that wooden barrel and hold on for dear life. As the water rises, the incredibly buoyant barrel will just help him stay afloat and carry him safely right to the surface of the pit. It's the exact same environmental logic for our prison escapee, Matt. He crawls through his suffocating underground tunnel for 3 hours, only to find his path completely blocked by a roaring fire. His only other options in the tunnel are venomous snakes or literal explosives. So, how does he get through the fire? He uses his immediate environment. Think about it, he's in an underground tunnel that he just dug. He can simply grab the loose start all around him and use it to smother and put out the flames.
Okay, let's dive into our final and arguably most absurd category of survival, Section 3, beating impossible scenarios.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is that when logic breaks down, you have to find the cracks in the fantasy. Never ever panic when faced with an impossible monster. Just find the logical loophole that strips away their power. For example, if a kidnapper puts a gigantic fire-breathing dinosaur behind a door, just walk right through it. Dinosaurs never breathed fire. Trapped in a spooky castle facing a door full of werewolves? Well, notice that the moon is only waxing. They only transform on a full moon, so you are perfectly safe. Facing a deadly, super bright sun that burns everything in seconds? Just sit down and wait until evening when the sun goes down so you can escape. And what if your path takes you right through a lake full of huge whale sharks? Just jump in and swim confidently. Whale sharks are completely harmless filter feeders. They aren't man-eaters. Logic beats fear every single time. All right, moment of truth. Let's move to Section 4, scoring your survival skills. Let's see how your lateral thinking held up against these mind-bending traps. How many did you figure out before I gave you the answer? Honestly, rank yourself right now. If you scored between 0 and 4, you're a beginner. It's probably time to read up on some survival books and master those basics. If you got 5 to 8, you are competent. You're almost there. Just a bit more practice needed to really get yourself out of dangerous situations. But if you cracked 9 to 12 of those, you are a true master of survival. You escaped unscathed. And keeping in mind the alternative, escaping unscathed is always better than being scathed. When your friends have a serious problem, you are definitely the logic master they'll come to for advice. And that wraps up our explainer for today. But before we go, I want to leave you with one final, provocative question to think about. Are you truly as observant as you think you are, or are you still falling for the trap of the obvious? Take these lateral thinking skills out and